Hi everybody, thanks for looking in. In this little film, I want to take a few looks at breathing as it works in Tai Chi. We're going to do one particular exercise to help us with this, but before we look at that, what I want you to realize is that not everybody in Tai Chi will teach the breathing. For some people, the important thing is to concentrate on posture and movement, because they argue that breathing, posture, movement are very interlinked. And if we try to impose breathing on poor posture or poor movement, then we're creating problems for ourselves. I think it's very important to remember that. I like to work with the breath, but I respect the opinion that says that we have to be, we should be very wary of that. You'll notice that I'm sitting down. That's because we're going to be doing the exercise from the chair. And what I'd like you to think about this is that I'm offering you a kind of pathway. And at some point, that pathway will meet with the pathway of movement and posture that we take in Tai Chi quite naturally, quite organically. It's useful to know that the pathway is there and how to walk along it, but you should never force this. So see this as in a way as a separate exercise that you can use to gradually get that sense of integration of the breathing. You'll notice that I'm sitting down, and that's because I don't want to have to deal with posture and so on and so forth. I just want to think about the breath. So I'm using the chair to support myself. You could, if you wanted to, use something like a cushion like this, maybe have it back in the chair to support your back a little bit more. You'll see that we need some support for the back. You might want to put it underneath your feet because, again, you might want that. The other way that you might want to do this is, I'll just move the chair for a moment, is to do this on the floor. You can do it laying on your back, and I'll just show you the sort of posture that you're looking for. You would lay back and have your knees up and your head back. So again, your back is supported. And again, if you wanted to do that, you could use cushions and so on to support your back. So this is purely looking at the sort of mechanics, if you like, of a certain type of breathing. There's a number of different breathing patterns that we use in Tai Chi, but this is just the most basic one of all, very natural breathing. Nothing should be forced onto your body. And very important that you breathe. So that's more important than any kind of breathing method or breathing pattern or anything like that. But focusing on your breathing can be very useful. It can actually help you with your posture. If you're the sort of person who likes to work with their breath, who finds that easy, then working with the breath can give you some feedback about how your posture is doing. The other thing, of course, is that our breath is a very good focus for our attention. So from a meditative point of view, focusing on the breath can be very good. But in that instance, it's important to emphasize that it's not a breathing method. You're just allowing a natural breathing. But that should be your starting point, just to get a sense for how your body is breathing, without judgment, without any attempt to change it. So always spend a few moments with your breath. Notice the rise and fall of your breathing, wherever you happen to feel it, in your chest or your sides or whatever. Don't force your body into a particular way of breathing. The exercises that we're going to do are quite strong. So to start off with, just do them a few times each. I'm going to talk about them, so I'll be doing them for longer. But again, go carefully and give your body plenty of time to adjust, or to go back to what is actually a very natural way of breathing. Sometimes referred to as abdominal breathing, sometimes referred to as bellows breathing, because we learn to use the body like a bellows, to expand in the body, to draw the air down into our lungs, give the lungs space to expand downwards, rather than straining in the body to kind of force the air in to the lungs. So find a comfortable position. As I said, you could be upright here. You could have your feet out in front of you. Whatever works best for you, so that you feel that your body is supported, and in particular that your back and your lower back are supported. And you'll see why that becomes important. So once you've done a few rounds of breathing, just to sort of gather yourself in, place your hands on your belly and see if you notice any movement there as you breathe in and out. You do, of course, breathe in through your nose. You can breathe out through your nose or through your mouth, whichever's more comfortable for you. Makes no difference for what we're looking at today. And if you don't feel any movement there, then just for a few rounds, very deliberately, use the muscles of your belly to push your hands out. And you'll feel that your back is pushing back as well. And that's why you need the support for your back. So your hands are pushed out, and then just relax and let them come in again. In my experience, this is not a particularly big movement, which is why you've got your hands there, so that you can feel it. And then just relax. If at any point in doing this you feel uncomfortable when you're breathing, just relax. You can continue watching the film and just build it up in your own time. Now we're going to do the same thing again with the solar plexus. So just below your rib cage, place your hands there. And you may feel a bit more movement there, just pushing the hands out and letting them drop back in. Notice how you're using, this time, the middle part of your back. And then just relax. So when we're standing, when we're doing the standing Tai Chi and Qigong postures, or even when we're doing the seated postures and we're forwards in the chair, we don't have the back of the chair to support us. But you've seen from doing those exercises how important the back is. So as always in Tai Chi, what supports the back is going to be your legs and your hips and your root, all those elements of posture. So that is one of the very important links between good posture and good breathing. That we've got to have that good posture so that even though there was nothing behind our back, we still feel the support coming up from the legs. Another element that is related to the posture is we don't want to be stiff and tight in the front of the body. We're not pulling the belly in. We're not tightening the muscles of the abdomen. We want a good muscle tone, but we don't want a tight, hard feeling, because you've just been using those muscles to actually help with the breathing, or you'll see how they help with the breathing. If you're using them tightly to hold yourself up, you can't use them for both. And that's when you'll start to create the tension, because you'll be trying to do two different things with the same parts of the body. And the breathing will get worse, not better, because of that. So then the next stage of this is to go back to having one hand this time on your belly, one hand on your solar plexus. And now what you want to try and do is to stage the expansion. You want to expand first in this lower hand and then in the upper hand. So do this very carefully again. So push the lower hand out and then the upper. And just reverse that on the way down. The reverse movement tends to be a very natural movement. So your body is expanding from your belly. I like to think of that as the area of the lower dantian, and do so in the belly and then in the solar plexus. And then, of course, there will be an expansion in the chest following that. And then just see how that affects your breathing. So just for a few rounds, expanding your belly, your solar plexus, take a breath in. So your whole body's filling up like the bellows. Breathe, filling up with air, and then just allow the out breath to happen quite naturally. And breathing in. You may find your shoulders moving a little bit as you do this, that's fine. One more time. So, as always in Tai Chi, this center part of your body, your belly, the area between hips and waist, however you think of it, the lower dantian is one term for it, becomes very important, and the in-breath is initiated from there, like the bellows. The bellows, when we draw the handles of the bellows apart, that would be like the belly expanding, and then the rest of the bag expands. The air is drawn in very gently, and in addition, by creating that space in the body, another reason not to strain to do this, we actually create space for the lungs to expand downwards. Our lungs are big triangular organs, and part of the in-breath, part of the physiological process, is to allow the lungs to expand downwards. So we're increasing the capacity of the lungs very naturally and very gently. So eventually, as I said, we want the paths to converge. We want to be able to reproduce that breathing without having to think about it, without having to struggle with it in the movements that we make in Tai Chi. Tai Chi movements, of course, follow that same pattern of expansion and contraction, expanding from the belly, contracting back into it. So breath and movement and posture are natural allies in this, but sometimes we need to work separately with them. So this is just purely about the breath. And again, go carefully, go gently, don't overdo it, don't expect to be able to get it in a day or a week, just gradually build the movement up. My experience was when I first started to look at this, I got quite sharp pains in my belly because I'd overdone the movement and I'd strained the muscles there. So just give yourself plenty of time to build this up, and as ever, feel comfortable in the movements and enjoy the movements. Thank you for watching.